Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. I am Cam Rogers. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. Good morning. Happy Friday. It is June 22nd, 2018. Fun show on tap for you. Got you guys covered for the next hour. So much NBA analysis coming your way. NBA draft grades. I'm giving you guys my best value selections. Going to go through some important names because these guys will be key pieces to their respective new teams in the association. I've got the latest LeBron James rumors, some buzz out there about perhaps the selection of Colin Sexton by Cleveland, a way to keep LeBron in Ohio. I'll have more about that later. Plus, the latest NBA trade rumors and NBA draft winners and losers with your guy, Harris Rubenstein, at the 45-minute mark. Cam Rogers with you here on the program. We're on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live. Hit me up with your questions, comments, concerns. Be sure to let me know what you think of the program. I'll be tracking what you guys say, answering your questions throughout the show. Real quick, right off the top, Rich or Famous KJ and Gurman Cans. Shout outs to you guys for watching the program here on YouTube Live. Thank you guys so much for coming along for the ride. All right, let's go to my top value selections. We'll recap all of these selections as we go throughout here, folks. Want to zone in on the man himself, the number one overall selection, DeAndre Ayton, going to the Phoenix Suns. 20.1 points per game, 11.6 rebounds as well last season. Incredible upside, and if you want to talk about value, number one overall, I mean, you can only say so much about value at that point, but here is why I'm talking about DeAndre. Because the Phoenix Suns did not mess this up, and I was worried about this. I was worried that Phoenix was going to get cute. They were going to trade the number one overall pick. They were trying to stockpile draft capital and all of this stuff. They didn't do that. They got the guy who probably has the best physical gifts in this entire draft class, talking about DeAndre Ayton. Thick frame with room to add some muscle, effective shooter with good mechanics, can really finish around the rim. Love his footwork as well. When I watch him on the tape, the footwork is fantastic. Now, the one knock on him, and look, you can find a knock on all of these guys. Looking at some of the fatigue here at the end of the games on the tape, and it really shines through. It seems as though he looks confused at times on that defensive side as well. That's kind of what I'm concerned about here in regards to DeAndre Ayton. But the Phoenix Suns are playing the long game, folks. They're not trying to go to the NBA Finals next season. They're just not, and they're not going to be a playoff contender. So they're taking their time with this process here, and DeAndre Ayton, in a sense, is step one in that process as we go throughout the 2018 NBA offseason. DeAndre Ayton, he was the chalky pick at number one overall. Some people had Bagley, some people had Doncic and other players. No, it was DeAndre Ayton the entire way. He was in my mock draft when I released mine here on the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. So Ayton, number one overall, really love that. Mention Marvin Bagley III going to the Sacramento Kings. There was an argument to be made that this kid could have went number one overall. Really like Bagley a lot. Harris, not as high on Bagley as I am. Outstanding lateral quickness. I think that's his best trait. Helps him on both ends of the court. Incredible finisher. Dude has an instinct for putting the ball in the hoop. That's what I want, and especially when we're talking about the Sacramento Kings here. Same logic alongside the Phoenix Suns. They're not trying to be competitive next season. At least they shouldn't be. So pick a guy who is gritty, who is tough, who has a nose for the nylon. Marvin Bagley III qualifies as that. Truly special rebounding ability too. 21.2 points per game, 11.1 rebounds per game with Duke in his freshman campaign. Bagley has Andrew Wiggins type of potential, and he went number 31 overall in the 2014 NBA draft. So yes, there is some concern on that defensive side for Marvin Bagley, but I applaud the Kings here for not getting too crazy with this number two overall selection. They got the guy who really liked their franchise, who really enjoyed the workout. There were some reports out there that the likes of Doncic and Ayton and all of these top-line prospects wanted nothing to do with the Sacramento Kings. I'm not sure if that's an indictment on the Kings themselves or an indictment on the players. Whatever the case may be, Marvin Bagley III wanted to be in Sacramento, or at least didn't not want to be in Sacramento. He gets selected there at number 2. Good selection there by the Kings. What team won the NBA draft last night? Be sure to let me know in comments. We'll feature you guys here on the program, The Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. Next up on the list, want to get to Trae Young as well. So Young going to the Atlanta Hawks thanks to that trade there with the Dallas Mavericks. So Trae Young, you can look at him in regards to unbelievable creativity on offense, incredible range, logo type of range. Then you go to the other side of the court. The defense, not all that great, but hey, this kid's dynamic. Can't miss shooting ability from all over the floor. Smooth ball handler as well, who uses a variety of different moves. Really crafty kid. And for the Atlanta Hawks, they had themselves a very fine draft. Trae Young displays really good passing vision too. Great shooter off the catch. And by the way, the amount of assists that this kid had with the Sooners last year, unbelievable considering that Oklahoma didn't exactly make it rain outside of Trae Young. The shooting ability for Oklahoma wasn't like world class by any means. So Trae Young really put his teammates in good positions. Now, the knock on him, a little inconsistent, can go hot to cold from time to time, and that's just kind of what you're going to get from a player like a Trae Young. People are saying perhaps the next Steph Curry. Let's slow down a little bit in regards to that. Will he be a bust? I don't think so. I think it's really good value here for the Atlanta Hawks. They add some picks in the process, add some draft capital, and they already had a lot of draft capital, by the way, going into this draft. The Hawks had to have done a bad job in terms of their decision-making for them to actually lose this draft. Almost said the Falcons. I'm like in NFL mode still. But who will be the best player from this draft class? Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson Jr., could be others, such as a Trae Young there. So overall, major upside here. I think perhaps the best shooter and passer in this class. Great job by Atlanta, trading back with the Mavericks. By the way, the Mavericks obviously in love with Luka Doncic. That's why they made that move. So overall for Atlanta, really, really nice job. All right, next up on the list here, Mikal Bridges going from the 76ers to the next team here and with the Phoenix Suns. Plays well within any system he goes to. And I think he will adapt well with Phoenix here. Playmaker from the wing position, can really spark an offense with his passing ability. Very good defender, can guard 3 positions with his speed and length. The 76ers got their guy in Bridges, and then they decided to trade him away for a less than polished 3-and-D guy in Zaire Smith. And I like Zaire Smith a lot, but if you're the 76ers, you're trying to win now, so why are you dealing away a more polished player in Mikal Bridges? So that's kind of what made me curious about that decision there. But forget about the 76ers. The Phoenix Suns did a fantastic job getting this guy via the trade. So another clap, if you will, for Phoenix, getting DeAndre Ayton and then Mikal Bridges. Otto Porter, the player comp there for Bridges. I'll tell you what, the core is slowly building there for Phoenix, and it's going to take some time, and Mikal needs to improve upon his killer instinct, if you will, and that's something that Phoenix has been lacking for quite some time in the NBA, so if Mikal can kind of build upon that, maybe he could be that dagger type of player for Phoenix in the future. So really good value there for the Suns to grab Mikal Bridges. You guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. Make a deposit and you will instantly get a free $10. FanDuel.com/chatsports. Use that referral code chatsports. Let me know what your username is, by the way, because you can be in one of my golf games, as you see on the screen here. Joey G winning the U.S. Open private contest from a week ago. And hey, you can get a shout out on air. So be sure to sign up with FanDuel, FanDuel.com/chatsports. All right, next up on the list, the slide was real for MPJ. Michael Porter Jr. going 14 overall to the Denver Nuggets. And I will say, back injury aside, this was a little surprising for me. I understand the back injuries and all that. I know how they can go. But I thought that MPJ was not going to go past the Chicago Bulls there at number 7. And then definitely not past the Cleveland Cavaliers, just in terms of pure value. So here you go with Denver getting Porter at 14. They're sprinting to the podium at that point. Great jump shot, both off the dribble and catching. Excellent finisher around the rim. Plays with confidence offensively. Above average defender, too. He can defend multiple positions. Yes, he got the back injuries and the bad PR in the sense that maybe he's not the best teammate in the world. So that kind of scared away a few NBA GMs. Not the greatest ball handler in the world, too. Sometimes has a weird shot selection. If you watch the tape, you make yourself kind of think, well, why did he just do that? So I understand the knocks on Michael Porter Jr., but we're talking about a guy who had top 3 talent going into this NBA draft, and the Denver Nuggets are getting him at number 14. So they were happy to see Porter fall to them. Fills a need for a team hoping for some front court help going forward. The only worry about the Nuggets is they're stacked on offense. Who's playing defense for Denver? And that's something to keep in mind as we go throughout this free agency period here this summer. Does Denver bolster up their defensive ability? Because if they want to, stick with the heavyweights in the NBA, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Cleveland Cavaliers of the world, if LeBron James goes back to Cleveland, they're going to have to play better defense. And I don't know if Porter really helps in that regard, but we're talking about value here, and at 14, like it a lot. All right, let's take a look at the next selection I want to get to, and more praise for Atlanta. Kevin Huerter out of Maryland going to the Hawks. Great jump shot, deep range, amazing shooter, electrifying player, 14.8 points per game, 5 rebounds as well with those terrapins. Very sad to see him go as a Maryland grad, but he is going to be fantastic for Atlanta. Finishes well on the inside with both hands. His basketball IQ is fantastic, and A-plus effort player on that defensive side. Plays hard on D with good length, instincts, and focus. So, yeah, he may take a few too many risks for your liking, but good value here at 19 overall. I mean, I was talking about Kevin Huerter when we were at like the 13 and 14 and 15 pick range. Maybe I was just a little early and my Maryland bias was shining through. But still, Hawks 19, Kevin Huerter, love the value so much. And they may have left the draft last night with the best 2 pure shooters in the entire NBA draft class, talking about Kevin Huerter there going to the Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young as well. Electrifying players. And you're thinking about tickets, right? Sales, all that stuff. The front office for the Atlanta Hawks are very, very happy right now because Kevin Huerter and Trae Young are ticket sellers, and they will continue to bolster their stock in terms of selling tickets for fans and all that as they continue their momentum from their college campaigns into the NBA, because they're going to be fantastic players in the NBA. Exciting, long-range type of shots. That's the NBA that we're in, ladies and gentlemen. Why do you think we are all up in arms about Steph Curry, watching him play, and we're just sitting back here in amazement because the kid can't shoot from the logo? So Kevin Huerter, Trae Young, that kind of ceiling there. All right, let's go to the next pick here, Mo Wagner. So going to the Lakers at number 25. Good value here. Pretty solid three-point shooter, shot 40% from beyond the arc. He's a solid ball handler as well. Plays with great energy on that defensive side. 14.6 points per game for Wagner, 7.1 rebounds as well. Defensive struggles do concern me a little bit about him. I would have liked Robert Williams a little bit more at 25 if we're talking about the LA Lakers and value here, but Wagner at that slot, not too bad either. They definitely wanted Kevin Huerter at 25. That would have been amazing value. Obviously not the case. There were some reports out there, though, that LA had promised Kevin Huerter a selection at 25. But Mo Wagner, great pick here at this slot. The LA Lakers, not a bad draft. Of course, we're focusing on LA in terms of free agency and the Kawhi Leonard sweepstakes. So Mo Wagner and the draft that the Lakers had, not too bad. So there you go. Good value there. Let's go to Jacob Evans now At number 28, going to the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors really didn't have to do too much to impress me. Not a lot of pressure on the front office to have a fantastic draft, but Jacob Evans, your classic 3-and-D guy, high passer IQ, executes really well, good spot-up shooter with NBA type of range. That's what the Golden State Warriors want. Range, 3-and-D. Jacob Evans out of Cincinnati provides that. 13 points per game a year ago. The only problem is he's just an average athlete. He's not elite. He doesn't have these DeAndre Ayton amazing physical gifts or anything like that, which, again, it's like not a big deal if you're talking about the Golden State Warriors and the pieces that they have right now on that roster. Their mission in this draft, talking about the Warriors, was to basically just bolster up the depth chart, the bench, and have some ability coming off of that. Jacob Evans is a guy that I like a lot. 3-and-D all day, baby, with the Golden State Warriors. All right, let's take a look at the Dallas Mavericks. At slot number 33 here, Jalen Brunson. First of all, in general, Dallas, fantastic job last night. Definitely one of the winners in my eyes. Jalen Brunson, electric player, 18.9 points per game a year ago. Reliable on both ends of the court. Really good basketball IQ as well. Plays hard on defense and rebounds really well. Creative finisher around the rim. When you watch the tape on Jalen Brunson, it's amazing to see. When you watch the tape on many of these Villanova Wildcats, well-coached players, mature players, high IQ. That's what I want to see if I am an NBA scout. Now, Brunson, limited athleticism, kind of lacks quickness and burst. Age is a bit of a concern as well. He's a little bit older, but for the Dallas Mavericks, really good value at 33 overall in my eyes. One of the more polished players coming out of this draft, and so overall, great selection. Could be a great backup for Dennis Smith Jr. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually mesh together, too. So keep that in mind there. Jalen Brunson going to the Dallas Mavericks. You guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. Make a deposit and you will instantly get a free $10 FanDuel.com/chatsports. Use promo code chatsports today. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99 with your username. I'll be sure to get you in my next PGA Tour golf game. And if you win, you're getting a shout out on air. All right, let's continue along with my key value selections there. You see them at the bottom of your screen. Mitchell Robinson at number 36. Perhaps one of the more polarizing players heading into this NBA draft. We don't know much about Mitchell Robinson, but here's what I can tell you. Elite athlete, long arms, wide frame, mobility makes him an incredible rim protector, good rebounder overall. Going to the Knicks at 36, I think, is really, really good value. Now, this guy's a bit of a mystery. So he sat out a full season, opting to train on his own. Yes, there's the argument he's a first-round talent as well. And in terms of value, I like this selection for the Knicks actually better in terms of value than Kevin Knox at number 9. That's just kind of how I feel about it. So I know Knicks fans might come at me a little bit in regards to Kevin Knox and all that, but shooting guard. Should have been a shooting guard. Should have been a point guard at the very least. So there you go. That's kind of my thought process there. But Mitchell Robinson, really good value. All right, let's go to DeAnthony Melton here. Going to the Rockets at 46 overall. Excellent defensive versatility. Keen off-the-ball defender, amazing rebounder for someone of his size as well, can finish at the rim with both hands. Yeah, he was at the center of the FBI investigation into college basketball and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Kid is talented. I think he'll be fantastic for the Rockets. He'll get to learn underneath James Harden and Chris Paul. Does it get any better than that? Assuming Chris Paul returns to the Rockets, of course. So there you go, DeAnthony Melton. All right. Let's get to Bates Diop here, going to the Lakers at 47 overall. And for Bates Diop, 19.8 points per game, Big Ten Player of the Year, solid shooter as well, NBA type of range, but isn't consistent off the dribble. That's kind of one of my knocks on him. Strong off the ball, though, high basketball IQ, strong defender overall, could very well play right away for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Said the Lakers, my apologies, meant the Timberwolves there. You play him next to KAT, I like that. Give me that. Give me that pairing there of Bates Diop, Karl Anthony Towns all day long. If you're just a pure basketball fan, you want to watch that on your television screen. So there you go. Big time selection there for the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, folks, that's the rundown with the NBA draft recap. Key value selections. You guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show, presented by FanDuel. I am Cam Rogers. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. Let's talk LeBron. The latest LeBron James rumors. Here's the latest buzz right here, right now. Is he down to just the Cavs and Lakers? So Brian Windhorst said on The Jump recently the following, quote, I don't think his family feels comfortable going to Houston. I think it's really where his family is going to be qualifies the teams. You have to get his wife Savannah and his sons to say yes. I think LA and Cleveland passed that, and I think that's why they're in the driver's seat right now, those two teams. So, according to Windhorst, it's LA and it's Cleveland, which means it could be LA and it could be LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George out there in Hollywood, as you see on your screen. So July 1st kind of seems a ways away right now, but LeBron does have some 7 days now to decide whether he will opt in or opt out of his player option with Cleveland. There was some buzz earlier this offseason that LeBron doesn't like Houston as a city, which would fall in line with what Windhorst is reporting right here, right now, saying that the family doesn't really feel comfortable with the city of Houston. By the way, what's wrong with Houston, guys? I mean, it's a nice city, right? I haven't been there, but I assume it's a great spot. Now, we like to talk about the Celtics and the Rockets and the 76ers. It's down to the Lakers and the Cavs. You guys know how I feel about LeBron James. He's going to the LA Lakers. I don't think he's returning to the Cleveland Cavaliers unless LeBron pulls off an Urban Meyer type of recruiting fashion and brings in some big-time players. I just don't think he's going to. Now, where should LeBron James sign in free agency, assuming he opts out? Maybe he just returns to the Cavaliers. Maybe it's the Lakers, 76ers, another team out there. Be sure to hit me up. Expand upon yourselves in terms of why you think so. So there you go. All right, how about this? Maybe the selection of Colin Sexton by the Cleveland Cavaliers was a move to bring back LeBron James. So there you go with Colin going number 8. ESPN Cleveland reporter Jordan Zerm reported that people in James's camp were a fan of Alabama guard Colin Sexton. Now, the Cavs obviously had a desperate need at point guard, so is this merely a coincidence or more of a LeBron pick overall? And that's what I kind of am thinking about here. We shall see if that is enough, by the way, to bring back LeBron James. I mean, we're only talking about one player here in Colin Sexton. Incredible upside. I think he'll be a great floor general going forward in his NBA career. Whether or not that's enough for LeBron James to remain, that remains to be seen. So that's the buzz right now about the Cleveland Cavaliers, trying to bring back LeBron James via the draft. I think it's going to take a little bit more, though, so keep that in mind. All right, you guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. Get started with FanDuel, folks. Make a deposit, and you will instantly get a free $10. FanDuel.com/chatsports. Use promo code chatsports when you sign up. Hit me up with your username, and I'll be sure to invite you guys to my future games. So get it done today. All right, how about this? The LeBron James camp and the Cleveland Cavaliers leadership have had a good dialogue recently. So General Manager Altman said Cavs leadership and LeBron's management have had a really solid dialogue so far, which is actually contrary to what I previously reported on this very program. There was a rumor out there saying that talks really haven't gone in a positive direction, like there was nothing really productive that was going on. So obviously things have changed since the last episode of this program here. And as LeBron mulls over his decision, the Cavs can at least take solace in that there is an ongoing dialogue. Any dialogue, in my eyes, is better than no dialogue. So in that vein, the Cleveland Cavaliers are in a proper process here, trying to bring back LeBron James. And I guess in a sense, the LeBron James sweepstakes can be looked at as if it's the stock market, right? Who helped their stock last night? Talking about the NBA draft. I don't think the 76ers did. The Lakers made some interesting selections with Wagner. among others. Meanwhile, the Cavs made the right selection with Colin Sexton there at number 8. So if you want to talk about draft stock, or at least the LeBron James stock, better position now for the Cavs than it was a couple of days ago. Better than the Lakers overall, probably not, but in terms of the recent trends, Cavaliers are going in the proper direction there. All right, how about this? A Philadelphia company, Power Home Remodeling, back at it again, trying to recruit LeBron James to the 76ers. So they've done quite a few things, billboards and all this stuff. Well, they paid for 3 planes to fly over the Barclays Center last night and along the Hudson River for 4 hours. There are the images there. They used phrases such as strive for goatness, and they used a math equation of 23 with the crown, obviously LeBron James, the Liberty Bell, obviously Philadelphia, equal sign, GOAT. So pretty creative stuff. Power Home Remodeling has utilized billboards, which have been copied in cities like LA and New York City since then. So they're trying, folks. Philadelphia is trying. I don't know if it's going to be enough. All right, so we'll see what happens in regards to LeBron and Philadelphia. I'll tell you this. Interesting point here from USA Today about LeBron and LA. In that, does it make sense for James to go to the Lakers if he were to go alone? And USA Today saying that with the recent buzz about the Spurs refusing to trade away Kawhi Leonard and some mounting rumors that maybe Paul George may return to the Thunder, does it make any sense at all for LeBron to go to LA alone? And honestly, no. I don't think it makes sense at all. Like, if that happens, Kawhi stays with the Spurs, maybe signs that Supermax, and Paul George remains with the Thunder, why would LeBron James at all leave for LA? So maybe you could look at a scenario here where Kawhi plays out the string, becomes a free agent in 2019, then goes to LA. Maybe Paul George eventually goes to LA as well in 2019, and then LeBron James can go to the Lakers. So maybe we're talking about a 2019 scenario here for the big three of LeBron, Kawhi, and Paul George. And I think there's a very real scenario where that could go down. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. You guys know how I feel. I am telling you that LeBron James will join the LA Lakers because Paul George will go to LA as well. But if there is the scenario where George remains with the Thunder and Kawhi remains with the Spurs or gets traded elsewhere, I don't think LeBron James will go to the Lakers. I just don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. Why deal with the LaVar Ball baggage and all that stuff to not be on a title contending team? Because the Lakers won't be if LeBron goes to LA alone. I'm sorry. Kuzma's great. Randall's great. Ingram's great. All these guys. Fantastic young core. But not a title contending team, not a warrior killing team, not a rocket killing team. All right? So that's just kind of how I see it right now. But LeBron James will go to the LA Lakers. It just makes so much sense from a financial perspective, from an environmental perspective. You know, LeBron preparing for the afterlife after his career in the NBA. He can stay out there in LA with a lot of business interests, a lot of business connections. He has a couple of houses out there. His family reportedly is okay with LA, not Houston. So cross off the Rockets there. Just evidence point after evidence point after evidence points in terms of why LeBron James should go to the LA Lakers. So there you go. You guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. I am Cam Rogers. Let's take a look at the latest NBA trade rumors. We'll center it on Kawhi Leonard right here, right now. So is he going to stay with the Spurs? So recently, the Spurs leadership said that the franchise wants to keep Kawhi in the fold, but will, quote, explore all of our options. From what I understand, the Spurs are not actively shopping Kawhi at this juncture, but they are willing to listen to offers. And why wouldn't you? Like, in fantasy football, maybe you're not particularly looking for a trade, but you will listen to offers. It's not like you're just going to ignore your buddy when they have a trade offer, right? So I understand what the Spurs are trying to do here. Now, Greg Popovich recently traveled to Southern California to meet with Kawhi Leonard to discuss the future and all of that. And, of course, the big-time headline that came out recently was that Kawhi Leonard has requested a trade. Now, the Spurs declined to say whether Leonard actually made a formal request to be dealt from San Antonio, but he did. I mean, he just did. He does not want to be there, and he's not going to sign this Supermax contract. If anything, he'll play out the string, become a free agent in 2019, go to LA, join LeBron James, perhaps in 2019, and be done with it. So there you go. All right, how about Kawhi to the Clippers? All right, so this is the centerpiece of the report. Mark Stein reporting last night that the Clippers tried to lure the Spurs into a draft night trade. The package included picks 12, 13, and Tobias Harris. All right, the Clippers don't really have the young players, though, that I think the Lakers have to provide for the San Antonio Spurs. We'll talk about the Lakers and what they tried to do. And I will say that, yes, Kawhi wants to be in LA, but he prefers the Lakers over the Clippers. And why wouldn't you? So I just don't think the Clippers make much sense from the Spurs' perspective, from Kawhi's perspective, most certainly. And I don't think it's actually going to happen, in my opinion. So there you go. You guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. Thanks to FanDuel for sponsoring the program. Awesome week, by the way, to sign up on FanDuel. World Cup and Major League Baseball contests for new players only. Play for real cash while you learn the ropes and get $10 free when you make your first deposit. Use the website fanduel.com/chatsports to receive that bonus. And we thank them for sponsoring the show here today. I mentioned the Lakers and Kawhi. Well, this is not a good report if you're hoping for Kawhi to go out to LA. The Spurs reportedly shut the door on the Lakers. According to ESPN, the conversation reportedly didn't even go to the point where players were actually being discussed. And if you guys are loyal watchers of this program, you know that I think Kawhi can still go to the LA Lakers. But this is also not surprising because I'm sure the Spurs just want to do their homework. See, the Spurs right now have a priority list of teams that they are willing to trade to. And as we stand right now, the LA Lakers are not high on that priority list. And why would they be? Why would you trade Kawhi Leonard within the Western Conference? Totally understand that. So what the Spurs are doing right now is essentially trying to dot their I's and cross their T's, going through every single team that could potentially trade for Kawhi Leonard. If the Spurs leadership gets to the point where the offers just stink across the board, then Spurs leadership is going to be tempted to go to LA and be like, all right, guys, let's do a deal. Because everybody has a price, folks. Everybody. Don't let the rumors out there tell you that Kawhi can't go to the Lakers, because he can. If the Spurs don't find a good offer from the other teams out there, they're going to go back to the LA Lakers and they're going to be like, all right, this guy doesn't want to be here in San Antonio. We'll deal him to you. And there you go. And I think that's a very real possibility. So, yes, it's in the early stages here in terms of the Kawhi sweepstakes, and that's why the Lakers really aren't part of the consideration for the Spurs. It's early. They're doing their homework, so they're going through the process. I understand that. So keep that in mind. Now, in terms of Kawhi to the 76ers, according to Sports Illustrated, the 76ers draft selection opened up the possibility of acquiring Kawhi Leonard. Of course, they traded Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith in a Miami 2021 first-round selection. And it made Harris and I kind of scratch our heads last night while we had the coverage, because we were like, well, why are the 76ers trading away Mikal Bridges? Oh, maybe they're trying to get Kawhi Leonard. And so maybe that's the thinking in terms of Philadelphia leadership. Sixers have a lot of draft capital going forward in the future, which could be attractive for the San Antonio Spurs as they try to make a deal with them. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go to the next trade rumor here on the list. Gortat, could he be traded? There were some reports out there that maybe he was going to be traded last night from the Wizards. he actually said, Gortat himself, reportedly 99% sure he will be traded from the Wizards soon. And they did try to deal him along with the number 15 overall selection last night. Not wholeheartedly, and they didn't really aggressively pursue this deal. They were somewhat reluctant to do so, according to some reports out there. And we'll see what happens in terms of Gortat. He said he expects to be traded to the Western Conference. Has spent 5 seasons with those Wizards, entering the final year of his deal, set to make $13.5 million. It's kind of a lot of money for Gortat. We're talking about a Wizards team here that is somewhat strapped for cash as we stand. It was really important for them to have a good draft last night because they have some expensive players on that roster. 8.4 points per game, 7.6 rebounds per game for Gortat there in the 2017-2018 season. All right, folks. LaVar Ball has spoken in regards to a potential Lonzo Ball trade. LaVar Ball obviously does not like the idea of a Lonzo Ball deal. He said, quote, "It'll be the worst move they ever made." Now, LaVar is still confident all 3 of his sons will play on the same team. LiAngelo Ball was not drafted last night, although LaVar says, quote, he'll come in the back door as a free agent, and then went on to say, somebody will take 3 of my boys, and whoever does, guess what? Championship. So, Lonzo Ball, Jello, LaMelo, the big 3, perhaps bringing a championship to whatever team it is. The LA Lakers, perhaps? Who knows? But it brings up an interesting point here because LaVar Ball has promised a lot of things in the past, and more specifically, that all 3 of his sons are going to play on the same NBA team. I just don't think that's actually going to happen, but we'll give LaVar Ball some credibility here in that maybe LiAngelo could be picked up by a team as an undrafted free agent. LaMelo has a lot of promise, although let's pump the brakes a little bit here because there's a lot of basketball left to be watched in regards to him. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. LaVar Ball, what up? I'm assuming that is a user on YouTube Live or Facebook Live giving a shout out to LaVar Ball, what up? Got a weigh-in for you guys. Legit serious question. Who would you rather hang out with? LaVar Ball or the 45th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, the leader of the free world? Comment, comment, comment. YouTube Live, Facebook Live, hit me up on Twitter. I want you guys to give me supporting details in terms of why you would rather hang out with that person. So we're talking about LaVar Ball or President Trump. And by the way, there's no cop-out, ladies and gentlemen. You can't say neither. You have to pick one. So Donald J. Trump in the White House, or maybe you go hang out with LaVar Ball out there in LA. I want your reasoning. I'm going to read these comments. Perhaps even on air, because I am very excited to see what people are going to say about this. Of course, LaVar Ball, President Trump got into a Twitter spat recently with the whole theft that went on in China. President Trump expecting a thank you from LiAngelo Ball and LaVar Ball. LaVar Ball said, I don't think I owe President Trump anything at all. So there was all of that and whatnot. But, legit question. Because I think some people are going to be hard-pressed to pick a person here because there are people out there that probably don't like LaVar and Trump at the same time. So, by the way, according to the fantastic staff behind the scenes here, LaVar Ball is winning on YouTube with the vote. So everybody is saying, we'd rather hang out with LaVar Ball rather than President Trump. So keep hitting us up with those comments. I'm going to force Harris Rubenstein to answer this weigh-in as well as he gets himself all set to come on the program. But we do want to bring up another one here as well in terms of a weigh-in. If LiAngelo Ball, all right, work with me here, guys, wins an NBA title, should he visit the White House and President Trump? Well, first of all, President Trump has to send out an invite, right? Because, well, we all know how Donald Trump rescinded his invite for the Philadelphia Eagles. He said he wouldn't invite the Golden State Warriors to the White House. But let's just say Jello wins an NBA title, okay? and President Trump invites him and his team to the White House. Should he go? All right, be sure to hit us up on YouTube Live as well as Facebook Live, and we will be tracking what you guys say. The staff behind the scenes will be tracking your guys' votes, and we'll see who actually wins out, by the way, in that previous weigh-in as well in regards to President Trump or LaVar Ball. So there you go. Fun little segment there. You guys are watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. Cam Rogers here. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. We've got Harris Rubenstein alongside as well.
I'm back.
Fun night last night, my man.
Oh, man, that was one of the best nights of on-air broadcasting that I've ever seen. We had so much fun. It was great being along with everyone. We roasted the competition last night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for supporting Chat Sports. We slayed everybody last night. It was awesome. 5 times the viewership that anyone else had on the internet. We crushed it. It was awesome.
And your brain has been swirling here, Harris, as you are breaking down the winners and losers from the 2018 NBA draft. Let's take a look at the winners here. And you were very impressed with the Phoenix Suns.
I was very, very, very impressed with the Phoenix Suns. Just because, look, they went into the draft with a lot of different needs. They had to pick up a franchise player. They needed a starting point guard. And they just needed to, continue building this roster through youth. And they picked up 3 outstanding players at 3 incredibly important positions. They pick up the best center in the draft in DeAndre Ayton. They pick up the best 3-and-D guy in the whole draft, somehow getting Mikal Bridges away from the Philadelphia 76ers, which, by the way, Sixers fans, I'm sorry. That was a horrible trade. I'm sorry. There's no way you're going to be able to convince me that Mikal Bridges is somehow worth Zaire Smith, a worse player, and a first-round draft pick from 2021 with the Heat. Like, it's a cool asset to trade. Maybe they try to get Kawhi, but I don't know. I thought that was a really random trade. And then I love the LiAngelo pick that they got at the start of the second round. He's going to be, I think he'll end up being their franchise starting point guard. He is electric. He is going to be such a good combo next to Devin Booker. I think the Suns absolutely killed it last night. Ryan McDonough, a round of applause for you, sir.
Yeah, what a job, huh?
A++, million pluses. You did such a good job, Suns. So I'm so proud. So proud.
All right, so Suns definitely a winner last night. How about this team as well? They didn't have to do much, Harris, and incredible value for the Boston Celtics getting Robert Williams.
Incredible. I think it ended up being the steal of the draft in the first round. I mean, look, at pick 27, they got my number 14 overall player. He was the best center left on the board. I can't believe he fell that far. I can't believe the Wizards didn't end up taking him. He's a really, really fun player to watch. I think he dropped due to maybe some effort issues and consistency issues. But guess what? Effort and consistency is what Brad Stevens does best. So I think his weaknesses line up really well with what the Celtics are going to be able to get out of him. That was their only pick of the night. And they not only got a great player, they got someone who fills almost every single need they have on their team. They needed a rim protector, they needed a rim runner, and they needed someone who can get good offensive and defensive rebounds. That's Robert Williams' entire MO. I can't believe that he fell to the Celtics. I am absolutely stunned.
I was shocked that he went past the Lakers, actually.
And also, I mean, good on Danny Ainge for pulling the trigger.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure he just freaked out when he saw that, Bob Williams, as Danny Ainge likes to call him. I thought it was a great pick. Maybe just the pick of the draft. We'll see how it goes, though.
All right, Harris, you, of course, are playing FanDuel. This is the Cam Rogers Show, sponsored by FanDuel. You're loving the games.
I am. That's right. Sign up now. Use the link FanDuel.com/chatsports and promo code chatsports. $10 free when you deposit. Big thanks to FanDuel. It's how we play daily fantasy here at Chat Sports. Get started with them today.
Sign up now. Use that link, FanDuel.com/chatsports and promo code chatsports. $10 free when you deposit. Big thanks to them. It's how we play daily fantasy here, Harris, of course. It's so much fun. And when you sign up on FanDuel and you play, it just makes the sporting events so much more exciting. So be sure to get it done, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's take a look at the Denver Nuggets. Big-time value with MPJ there at 14.
I can't believe that he fell to them. I can't believe he was on the board at 14. I'm stunned that the Clippers passed on a perfect player for them for SGA and Jerome Robinson, and the Nuggets took advantage of it. Look, they needed a ton of wings in this draft. They needed to get some players on defense that can add a little versatility to their team, and they filled all of those needs. Michael Porter Jr. might end up being the best player on their team in 2 years' time. You add him to the passing ability of Nikola Jokic and the playmaking of Jamal Murray, and that is just an awesome starting lineup. You move out Wilson Chandler, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr., Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic. That's a fantastic starting five for the Nuggets. I love the Jared Vanderbilt pick, too. He can't shoot, but, man, that dude can defend any position.
The Nuggets are in good position offensively, but defensively, I'm a little concerned. Are you?
Not anymore. I think a lot of their defensive issues came from a lot of inconsistency last year with health. I mean, they lost, a lot of really important players at a lot of different times. I mean, Paul Millsap missed most of the season last year. Jokic got a little banged up here and there. So did a lot of their bench. But, I mean, now there's just so much length coming off the bench with Vanderbilt, Michael Porter Jr. I don't know if he's going to end up starting. They got a lot of really, really nice players. I love what the Nuggets did. I think they cemented themselves as a playoff team in the West.
I'm shaking my head right now, Harris. I'm sorry, but I'm reading the YouTube live commenters right now, and this is the second comparison I have got here while being an on-air host at Chat Sports. I am not Sheldon Cooper. In what way am I Sheldon Cooper? Do I look like a nerd? Come on, Sheldon Cooper?
I was called last night on Twitter a combination of Corey from Boy Meets World, because no one's original out there. Corey from Boy Meets World and Klay Thompson.
I am not Sheldon. Guys, can somebody defend me in the comments here?
I got a big nose, but no, I don't look like PBS like Klay Thompson does.
Unbelievable. I need a better comparison. All right, player comp for Cam Rogers. Go. Comment section.
I got it. No, it's like if you took the baby of Drew Brees and Joe Flacco and combined it with the baby. I don't remember what the exact comment was.
Yes, you are Cooper. Oh, my God, this is brutal. All right, let's continue on here. Let's talk Dallas Mavericks. What a draft, Harris.
What a draft for the Mavericks. Look, if you can get my number one player in the draft and number 3 overall, you're a winner. Luka Doncic is the best player in the draft. I'm sorry, Kings and Suns fans. Luka Doncic is the best player in the draft, and the Dallas Mavericks made a fantastic pick. I am so excited to play with Luka Doncic and Dennis Smith Jr. in 2K next year. That is an unbelievable backcourt. I don't care about one of them have to be ball dominant. I do not care. That backcourt is going to be unbelievable for them next year and throughout the rest of their franchise. That is how they're going to rebuild this team. Rebuild through the backcourt, rebuild with guards and shooting. They drafted Jalen Brunson as well. I love him. If one of those two end up kind of being a bust, or great, you just have an awesome 3-guard rotation of Dennis Smith Jr., Luka Doncic, and Jalen Brunson. That's fantastic. This is a really smart way to rebuild. I like the way that the Mavs are trying to do this in the front office. They see that defense and shooting wins you games in the NBA today. The Mavericks were still a really good defensive team last year. They just couldn't score, and they got the best offensive player in the draft. I love Luka Doncic on the Mavs. That is a frightening combo. I can't wait to see it.
Very exciting team at that. By the way, player comp for you just came in on YouTube Live.
What's up?
You're Josh Nichols from Drake and Josh.
Josh Nichols from Drake and Josh?
Josh Peck. Ever gotten that one?
No, actually. I've never gotten Josh Peck before. Right. But I can understand it because I do kind of randomly spaz out like he does, so I can kind
Headaches!
All
right, let's go to the Atlanta Hawks here. They had a lot of draft capital going into last night, Harris, and what a selection with Trae Young. Love it, love it, love it.
3 picks, 3 hits.
Kevin Huerter,
they did
too.
a great job. Look, we mentioned it last night, and I'll mention it again here. They're trying to rebuild like the Golden State Warriors, and they're trying to rebuild their team through 3-point shooting and defense. And they did a great job of acquiring all 3 of those last night. They got Trae Young as their kind of pseudo Steph Curry. They got Kevin Huerter as their pseudo Klay Thompson, and they got Omari Spellman as their pseudo Draymond Green. Now, I don't know if all 3 of those guys are going to turn into 3 most likely Hall of Famers, but I love what the Hawks are trying to do with this rebuild. I love the Huerter pick. I thought that was one of the best picks of the first round. I love Trae Young in Atlanta. He's really going to have a chance to enhance his offensive game as the primary leader of that team. And I think the Omari Spellman pick is going to be fun to see too. I don't know where he's going to play in the NBA, but the Hawks will figure it out. That's something for later. Take the talent now and figure it all out later. He can hit threes at like 6'9", 250
Great
pounds.
range.
Take it.
All right, Harris's winners from the NBA draft: the Suns, the Celtics, the Nuggets, the Mavs, and the Hawks.
Go Suns. So
All right,
proud.
We're getting negative now. The losers
I've been waiting.
from last night: the likes of the Clippers, the Wizards, the 76ers, Hornets.
Losers!
We'll get to LiAngelo and LaVar as well. Let's talk about the Clippers, Harris.
You are the first team in NBA history to have back-to-back lottery picks, and you end up with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jerome Robinson.
Yeah.
It's just, look, I'm not saying those are two bad players. They're two good guards, and they'll probably get the job done in the NBA, but you could have done so much more. I feel like it was a big-time missed opportunity. They didn't need two young guards. They have so many guards on this team, and Austin Rivers just picked up his player option. Patrick Beverley's coming back, so is Milos Teodosic, and Austin Rivers. Now you're adding two guards to the mix. Someone has to get traded. Like I don't understand the pick. I like SGA. That was fine. The Jerome Robinson pick to me was a huge reach at 13.
So not good value in a sense.
No, why? I don't understand why they didn't take a wing. I mean, they need one. They need someone who can shoot on the wing that isn't Tobias Harris. And don't give me Danilo Gallinari. Please, you blow on Danilo Gallinari and he bursts into a million pieces. He is the most injury-prone player in the NBA after Mike Conley. I just don't like what the Clippers did. I don't think they took advantage of a great draft spot.
All right, so that's the rundown there with the Clippers. Let's talk Wizards here.
Oh, the Wizards.
Some buzz that they tried to trade that number 15 pick, and they didn't do that.
Wizards. I'm so done with the Wizards. You know, I used to be a Wizards fan.
Really?
I did used to be a
from
Wizards
the area.
fan. They were the one team from Maryland that I really stuck by. I can't do it anymore. I'm so done with this front office. They do not know how to build a basketball team. They just don't. Another year, another bad draft, another missed opportunity to, go into their window. It's just, look, Troy Brown is a nice player. I like Troy Brown. He's a good player, but what the hell are the Wizards doing taking a shooting guard? When the best center, or my number 5 center was still on the board, they took a guard when they've been talking for months about taking a center. And they don't take one twice.
Maybe that means they're keeping Gortat.
The second pick was a drafting stash that they took over multiple good young point guards that were still in the draft. Why? Nothing they do makes any sense. They shouldn't have given Otto Porter that max contract. They shouldn't have given up a first-round pick for Markieff Morris. Horrifyingly bad trade for the Washington Wizards. I can't believe they just keep throwing around money. The Ian Mahinmi contract is maybe the worst in the NBA after Luol Deng. This is a completely directionless basketball team. They don't know how to build a roster. They don't know how to develop players. And they have had such an issue trying to maximize John Wall's potential. But guess what? Draft some freaking shooters. Stop drafting defensive first players. Get people who can score.
They're stuck in the old NBA.
They've drafted one shooter in John Wall's entire career with the team, and it was Bradley Beal. That's it. They've drafted no other shooters for him since John Wall's been on the team. I'm tired of this. They have to stop messing up like this. They've completely missed out on the prime career of John Wall. It's such a waste.
All right, let's talk about the 76ers, Harris. They had Mikal Bridges, and then they
What a
did
terrible trade. I'm sorry. It was a bad trade. It was a bad trade. That Bridges trade was bad for the 76ers, and I think they got roasted by the Suns because they didn't have a GM. I think that they really got taken advantage of. They drafted a top 10 player in the draft. He was my number 7 overall player, Mikal Bridges. I thought he was a perfect fit with the 76ers. The best 3-and-D guy in this class, high floor, good ceiling as well, great three-point shooter, good defender on the wing. Exactly what they need. And they trade him away for a worse player and a pick for 3 years from now from the Miami Heat? Like that might not even be a lottery pick. That might just be some random mid-round, first-round pick with not a ton of value.
Yeah.
So you move back 7 spots in the draft, and you pick up a bad first-round pick and you give up the better player. I don't get it. I hated that trade when they did it. I hate that trade now. I slept on it. I thought more about it. Maybe I give them another chance. Equally as bad. It was a bad trade. I'm sorry. It's a bad trade.
All right, 76ers are there. We've also got the Charlotte Hornets here, Harris.
Cam, there's nothing worse in the NBA than being a middle-tier team and not knowing how to get out of it. And they did it again.
The Hornets qualified.
The Hornets are the middling team of the NBA. They just sit around in the middle of the conference and don't do anything. I mean, look, they had a great opportunity last night to really enhance their team and add a lot of value. I like Miles Bridges, but they traded Hamidou Diallo, one of the only picks that they had last night that I liked. So their entire draft class came out to be Miles Bridges, Devontae Graham, and a drafting stash.
Mm-hmm. No thanks.
What? That's it? You just trade away Dwight Howard? Are you rebuilding? Are you what are they doing? Like, what is the direction of this team? Why did they trade Kemba for a first-round pick last night if they were going to draft a point guard in the second round? Why did they trade for Miles Bridges when they already have Michael Kidd-Gilchrist? Like, it just nothing that this team does has ever made sense to me, and this carries on with it. Why did they draft Frank Kaminsky? Why did they draft Michael Kidd-Gilchrist? Why did they draft Malik Monk last year? Like, this is nothing that the Hornets ever do makes any sense. And no offense to Michael Jordan, I get that he's the GOAT. He's a terrible owner. The dude doesn't know how to build a basketball team.
That's kind of important.
It has been proven time and time again. He has no idea how to build a basketball team. Sorry. I get it. He's the GOAT, Air Jordan, whatever. But I'm sorry he gets dunked on all the time and with trades and free agent signings. They're in a terrible cap situation. They make terrible draft picks, and they've pissed off the best player in franchise history. I don't know what else you want from the Hornets. They've completely messed up the past 3 years.
Losers, Charlotte Hornets on that list. Clippers.
Number one loser, by the way, the Charlotte Hornets from last night. Number one.
Clippers, Wizards, 76ers, Hornets, and then LaVar LiAngelo Ball. Let's wrap up the program here, Harris. Talk about LaVar Ball, LiAngelo Ball, and all that good stuff. BBB, baby. All right, Harris, I didn't actually ask you earlier, but you got to pick one. Who are you going to hang out with? LaVar Ball or President Donald John Trump? You got to pick one. You have to.
You know,
we'll pull up the way, and we want you guys commenting on this again.
It would really more be who would I be more entertained by having to hang out with them. I think the more entertaining person to hang out with would be LaVar Ball, because at least we would actually have something to talk about, regardless of what my political standings are. Like, I don't really know what President Trump and I would talk about. LaVar and I? Oh, man, we could talk about basketball all day. I'll compliment Lonzo. I think he's going to be a great point guard in the NBA. We could talk about Lonzo for an hour. I don't care. I just don't know. Like, what are President Trump and I going to talk about?
I'm watching the comments flow in here. We've got LaVar. Nobody is on Team Trump right now.
It's just, look, I am a nice, I'm a nice Jewish man who loves his sports. What are Donald Trump and I going to talk about? Bill Belichick?
Maybe constructive dialogue about politics? I don't know.
We could talk about Tom Brady. We could talk about how much we both love Tom Brady. We can both show, the pictures that we have of him hanging up on our... Oh, wait, you guys aren't supposed to know about that. Anyway, no, I would love to hang out with LaVar Ball. I think it would be a lot of fun. We could talk some basketball, talk, a little JBA. Maybe he'll let me, meet LaMelo Ball.
We're getting some Trump comments now.
Again, like, what do I talk?
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to throw in a wrinkle now.
I like wrinkles.
LaVar Ball, President Trump, or Kim Jong-un?
Oh, man. Wait. Can I choose?
The dictator of North Korea.
Hold on. Can I choose Trump and Kim Jong-un with an asterisk that Dennis Rodman has to be?
Yes, you can do that.
All right,
yes.
I'm booking. I'm taking
that would be a really fun conversation.
I would love to talk to Dennis Rodman. He seems like one of the most interesting men on the planet. I don't know how intelligent he is. I don't really know what we talk about. I just kind of want to sit there and listen to Dennis Rodman talk. It's like with Charles Barkley. You don't really know what he's saying. I don't even think he knows what he's saying. But he's just so interesting. He's just so entertaining to listen to that you kind of just have to sit there and watch.
LaVar Ball in YouTube Live just said that Kim Jong-un is a big baller. I love it.
Oh, man, can you imagine if Kim Jong-un came out of a meeting with Trump wearing a triple B hat?
Oh, my God.
Look, again,
talk about marketing.
I gave a very responsible take on LaVar Ball last night. Go check out our draft coverage from yesterday if you want to see it. It was, it was interesting. But I got to say, I would love to hang out with LaVar Ball. That would be such a fun conversation. You know what? I would love to have him on NBA Weekly. You could do a little interview with him. That'd be awesome. That'd be so much fun.
All right, somebody just commented here, Trump versus Kim Jong-un in a boxing match. That'd be fun.
That would be a lot of fun. Wait, LaVar Ball plus Kim Jong-un?
No, Trump versus Kim Jong-un in a boxing match.
Trump, do you know what? Donald Trump is actually a pretty big guy. He would drop him in a couple hits. He's what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, he's a pretty sizable guy.
I'm not calling out anybody for their weight. He's just bigger. He's a bigger dude. I'm bigger than you. You know, it happens.
All right, folks, you guys have been watching the Cam Rogers Show presented by FanDuel. We'll be taking off for now. Be sure to hit us up on Twitter. He's at SportsDean. I'm at Mr. Rogers99. Let us know what you think about the program. And I'll be back here on Monday morning, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. You better be back there, too. Many thanks to FanDuel one more time. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.